Clark, I noticed that you guys had a really aggressive approach today, with a lot of going for it on fourth down. What led to the decision to uh, be that aggressive? Was that part of the game plan coming in?
Well, I mean, it's what we want our identity to be. I think we were able to stay in rhythm and in sync, so we got to convertible fourth downs, by having positive traction on third down. And I think that goes into, it comes into play. We also knew that this needed to be a game where we limited possessions for the opponent. And so, I think that the emphasis was on staying on track on third down to give ourselves a chance to go for it on fourth. We were able to do that, and we were able to have some success there, converting those fourth downs. Obviously, not enough, but that was certainly part of the plan. But I think also just a part of our identity in general.
Chris?
Hey, Clark, what did you see as the difference in winning and losing tonight?
Well, I felt like, first of all, we didn't start well, and this has been a theme this season, and I think in some ways it's as you get through the end of the year, especially, and you're thinning out in your ranks, just trying to simulate the speed that you're going to see on Saturday becomes a challenge. And I'm not talking about the tempo of the offense. I felt like we were well conditioned. I did not feel like we were wilting at the end of drives. Just seemed like we were early on having trouble catching up to the speed that Ole Miss had, particularly at receiver. Offensively, we stalled out in the first two. There was a sack on a 3rd and 3 that prevented us from a fourth down attempt or a conversion. And then we had too many just procedural issues again, and some of those came up at the center position. But early on in the second drive, we had a freeze call made where we were going to line up and go through cadence, but not snap it, in hopes of getting a cheap 5 yards. And, we snapped the ball. So those things are within our control. As far as winning the game, we knew that they had a dynamic player at quarterback. I did not feel like we made enough plays on him when we had opportunities, particularly in the first half. There was a couple of times where we had him in the backfield, and had a chance to finish with a sack that would obviously have been huge for our momentum. One of those ended in a touchdown drive there on their fourth possession. When we executed our plan, when we controlled the game on offense, we finished with points. We had long drives. We kept the ball out of their hands and kept their offense on the sideline. When we did that, when we played complementary, when we were able to pin them or force them to drive the length of the field, I felt like we were in control. When we didn't do those things, they made us pay for it. And we spotted them 10 points at the start of the game, and gave them a short field at the end of the first half there that they were able to capitalize on a touchdown. And then the other touchdown score was on the drive where we missed an opportunity to sack the quarterback. You have to make the plays, and you have to interlock all three phases. And we weren't able to do that effectively enough tonight.
Bobby?
Clark, with over 450 yards of offense against the number 12 team in the country, how do you strike the balance both in terms of like conversations, what you say to the team after the game and maybe in practice this coming week, as well as when you evaluate the tape and all that sort of stuff? How do you weigh and strike that balance between maybe your team is improving late in the season, but at the same time it's still a loss?
Well, no matter the results of the game, we always, by the time we're looking at it on Monday, we're just pulling the learning from it to apply it moving forward. Obviously, yardage isn't the goal. There are performances that will highlight that we had guys step up and make plays. And again, I think it's like for us, we talk all week about a plan to win, a path to win, and us moving the ball on offense obviously is a part of that plan to win. We're not surprised when we do that. That's the expectation. I think for us, it's more looking at the times when we stall out or when we, again, self-sabotage with procedural penalties, and fixing those issues. This team has gotten better through the course of the year, I think, in tangible ways, and then in ways that are internal, ways that are in our locker room that the team knows, but maybe that no one else does. You see, it's a high character team. It's a team with a lot of fight in it. But this is a team that's desperate to win, and we get one chance to do that here at the end of the season. We're gonna put everything on the table this week to go out and fight for that outcome that we want. Again, going back on the road in conference, which is an awesome thing. So, we have a lot ahead of us for the positive and a lot to build off of, but this is going to be about how we put everything on the table to get a result this week.
Maria?
Back at SEC Media Days, you were talking about some of your goals for the season, and one of the things you were talking about was kind of, making the opponent nervous in the fourth quarter, with the game being close. Is this the kind of thing that you were talking about when you envisioned that back, before the season started?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to be in position to apply pressure. And I think for this team, it's learning how to get to that moment where we can break through. And, I don't know necessarily that, let's put the ball in the end zone there on that 2-minute drive, and let's get the onside kick, and let's really put some pressure. So, again, this team is designed to fight, and they fought. They have a deep respect and appreciation for each other that shows up in the way they play. And, if we can just grab control over the things that we control, I think part of this is the pain of learning how to win, learning how hard it is to win, particularly on the road, and finding a way to get control of those things earlier so that we can be in position to score to go ahead at the finish. That would be the goal.
Chris?
Yeah, Clark, I've got two unrelated questions. First one, how do you evaluate Mike's performance tonight?
I thought it was gutsy. I thought he competed hard. Obviously, it's going to be imperfect, but performance is never perfect. He converted with his legs. He converted throwing. We have to continue to build chemistry between quarterback and receiver. In our first possession in the second half, we had 3 4th-down conversions, and then we missed on our final 4th-down attempt in their territory. But to me, the story of that drive was just misses on one-on-one throws on the perimeter. We got receivers that can go get it. We have to build that chemistry where when we're throwing back shoulder, it's 2 guys on the same page. That becomes really hard to defend. So we have to continue to hone that chemistry even here in the last week. But I thought, Mike was a competitor out there. I thought he did a lot of really good things. We came up short, which means he came up short too, but there's going to be a lot to build off of and grow through.
Next one, I noticed, I guess this was maybe the second quarter. You put in Brooks and Warden for Clemens and Hernandez. Were there injuries in play, or was it a effectiveness decision? What was going on there?
Brooksy has been working in through the season. He's he's developing as a young player and becoming dependable, and he's gotten those opportunities in past weeks. He got it tonight and was playing well, and so he was able to stay in there for us. With Hernandez, we were just having trouble with. We had too many procedural penalties that were affected by the center position. We needed somebody to come in and stabilize the operation, and we felt like Mike Warden was able to do that for us. And that was a stopgap tonight where we needed to make sure we need to stop sabotaging drives. And so it's about effectiveness at that point.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Oh, I can't hear you, Mr. Chris. I think your mic is still muted.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it
There
is.
it is. I got you.
How did you feel about the way you guys played tonight? And I know that the points on the scoreboard weren't there, but you moved the ball pretty well. You got into scoring territory a lot. How would you evaluate what you guys did well and maybe what happened where you guys had the shortcomings with penalties and such?
Yeah, I mean, as always, I mean, we're gonna have to go back and watch the film to really see what we did well and what we need to improve on. But just one thing that I'm just proud of the way this team is fighting. I mean, we're continuing to grow. We're continuing to grow as an offense. I'm really proud of our defense. They had a big task today. And what I'm really proud of is when we play complementary football, like we was moving the ball, we was getting stops on defense. Special teams is playing really great. So I mean, it's there, and that's what I'm most excited about. So it's there. I know it's there. I mean, we all can feel it's there. We just got to hang on to it and just put it together for 4 quarters.
Aria?
You guys went for it on fourth down a lot tonight. What did you think of, all those all that kind of aggression tonight? And then, what do you think was the difference between, some of the plays that worked and then some of those ones, especially the one in the fourth quarter that didn't work?
Yeah, I mean, well, as an offensive player and as a quarterback, you want to be on the field every single drive. I would go for it on fourth down on our -20 if I could. So, I mean, that's just who I am naturally as an aggressive player. But that was just the flow of the game. I mean, we were already converting earlier on in the down. I mean, we were consistently moving the ball. So I have full trust in the coaches. They have full trust in this offense. So I mean, we were all on the same page. We were going out there and going for fourth down. I mean, hey, that was just what we were going to do. So there was no hesitation about that. And it's just as far as just the plays that work and the plays that didn't. I mean, that's just football. I mean, we have respect for Ole Miss. I mean, they're a good team, but I think we go back and actually watch the film, is going to be more about what Vanderbilt football did versus what Ole Miss football did to Vanderbilt. I think we had a lot of plays where we were one back, and I think there's a lot of plays where we can kind of control the outcome. They didn't really do too much anything special. It was more of us. And so, I mean, of course, we'll go back and clean those things up. But I mean, as far as plays working and not working, that's just football. I mean, we live to fight another day. All we're going to do is just improve. We're going to come back and prepare. So.
Aria, do you have another? Okay. That's all we got for you, Mike. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Back, Rocko Griffin. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Rocko, you guys got some things going in the running game, especially early. Looked like the holes were maybe bigger than you've seen in some other games. How do you evaluate what you guys did as running backs and also what you saw in front of you in terms of what the line was giving you?
Yes, sir. We just took preparation to performance. All week we've been pulling our schemes. We knew they were gonna run the odd front. Big thing for that was just our nose and our guard, our center and our guard in that block. So really just taking preparation to performance and applying it in the game led to success.
Chris, you have another? Aria,
No, I'm
go
good.
ahead.
What kind of informed your guys' aggressive approach tonight, particularly when it came to fourth downs? And, what do you think was the difference between maybe some of the successful plays and then some of the unsuccessful plays?
Yeah, as far as the aggressive approach, we try to approach every game with the aggressive approach, to be honest with you. My flight today, it was just executing. We had a lot of self-sabotage with penalties. And I think that was really just the biggest thing that separated some of the successful plays from the non-successful plays.
Rocko, that's it, man. Appreciate your time.
All right, appreciate you.